This is a business that's going to be one of the last ones to be disrupted by heavy technology, robots or drones or AI. Not going to say we won't, and I come from a technology background, so I'm following trends and doing a lot of testing of equipment and chemicals. I think that's a lot of it is that for at least for the foreseeable future, at least what we do, hotel specialized cleaning and even commercial cleaning more broadly. Again, technology disruption is one of the last things that will be one of the last industries to be affected by it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sound Waves. I'm Rob Petrosh, the founder of Sound Cove Labs here in Greenwich, Connecticut. Great to have you with us today. We have a great one for you. I'm joined by David Grossman, the CEO of Renue Systems. David, how are you?
I'm doing great, Rob. Pleasure to be here. I hope you're doing well also.
I am. And thanks for joining us today. One way we always like to kick off is, where are you in the world?
Currently, I'm in New York City. Good question, because I travel extensively. Our company is based outside of Chicago, so that's the second office, and my third office tends to be American Airlines.
That's great. Hopefully the frequent flyer status is solid.
Yeah, all good. Hopefully someday I'll have a chance to use it for pleasure.
I understand that. Well, let's dive into Renue Systems. When you first got involved with this business, what did it look like and what was your vision for it? Give us a little bit of background about the business, when you joined or when you started, and where you wanted it to go.
Sure. So our company was started in 1991 by a young individual who was 21 years old at the time, who taught himself how to learn the business, which in our case is just doing highly specialized cleaning services to high-end hotels. We didn't start out that way. We started being a generalist, but just saw being a cleaning company generalist is very challenging, only gotten more so since. So our founder had the foresight to focus and stumbled across the hotel industry, and ever since then we've gone down that path. So we have deep relationships with many of the big hotel brands, Marriott and Hilton and Hyatt and Intercontinental and others, and we help them with their challenging cleaning needs. So it's really highly focused, and that's helped us be successful. We're also a franchisor. We own and operate Chicago location, but we now have 32 franchises across the U.S. and in 6 countries. So looking to geographically expand as well as expand our customer base. And I joined the business in 2010. I had a career in consulting in Wall Street and finance, and after 3 times of getting laid off, it's just enough already, and I looked for something that I could be involved with for a longer period of time. I started talking to some business brokers, and it took me about 6 years, and eventually found this company that I was able to cobble together the funds and purchase, and along with our small team, just get our head down and get to work. And this business, it's a service business. We're as good as our people, and the way we succeed is just simply customer service and execution. It's just a lot of blocking and tackling. It's not sexy. It's not high tech. It's just doing the right things for our customers. And I know that sounds easy, but often falls short.
Yeah, our audience definitely understands that part. From finance to private equity to cleaning, how was that transition for you?
It's a great question. So in college, I ran a small business and just had a lot of fun doing that. And that was always in the back of my mind. And then went to graduate school. So I have a PhD, and that's been, shall we say, not needed to do the business we're doing. But, you never know where your career takes you. And in my case, I've always felt comfortable with both white collar and blue collar. So I had the comfort that I could span both groups, which is very important for me regarding Renue. But I think not everyone can do that. Some want white collar, some want blue collar, some want both. So it was certainly something I gave a lot of consideration to when I was selecting what I wanted to do. And for me, that's worked out real well. So I've been very pleased with it. But you raise a good point, because a lot of people that are, say, used to white collar work, maybe need to think twice about who they get involved with next. And same thing going the other direction too. I think you have to kind of know your strengths for better or for worse, as well as your weaknesses.
Great advice. Turning to the business a little bit more, I love your focus on luxury hotels. I guess the question that comes to my mind is when I think about those hotels, I would think a lot of this is done in-house. Is that not, that seems to not be the case, I guess?
A lot of it is, but not what we do. So you're right, everyday housekeeping and nightly janitorial, mopping, light cleaning, that's often done in-house, or sometimes they do have an outside company. But we're neither of those. We go in for special projects several times a year with well-trained technicians paid a little bit more because we have higher quality, they're well-trained. We have special equipment, special processes that we've developed over the years. So it's anything from removing stains in carpets to odors to polishing, restoring marble. And we've added so many other services like escalator cleaning, chandelier cleaning, just a wide range. Again, that don't happen from time, not every day. So you don't need an internal team nor really have the right training to do that since it's not an everyday service. But that's where we come into play. So we help them with these special projects that happen from time to time, ranging everything inside and even outside the hotel to help them improve the looks as well as the safety.
Shifting gears to systems, tech, and operations, at the end of the day, you operate in dozens of cities around the country. What systems and processes have been most critical for you keeping quality control where you need it to be?
Yeah, clearly that's an important question for us, especially since it's taken us years to develop deep relationships with these high-end international hotel chains. And we know it's so much quicker to lose a relationship with, say, Marriott than it is to gain it. So we do put a lot of thought and work and dedication into quality. It starts one with the people that we select and who's going to run our offices. In our case, again, it's not hiring an employee, but it's hiring a franchisee who invests capital, and then we work very closely to train them our systems, our processes, help them a lot on the sales side. So the first step is finding people that we think are a good fit with us, and then they're clearly vested because it's their business. So we think in our case, it's the best of both worlds for our customers because they're getting the training of well over 30 years of experience, but yet they're getting the tender love and care of a local franchisee owner who's very vested to make sure that they're comfortable and happy, I should say, that customers are happy. So that's a lot of it, for finding the right people, making sure they're vested, which they are as franchisee owners. And then we do a lot of training from time to time. We do a lot of support. And we also do a lot of quality inspections with our customers. We check in with them. We do random sampling, things like that. So we think we have a pretty good sense of it, and the proof is in the pudding because we get a lot of repeat work from our customers. But it's not something that we take lightly because earlier in our development, we had a lot of quality issues, but we've gotten better at it. I'm never going to say we're perfect, because there's always issues in a service business. Sometimes it's our fault, sometimes it's not. But the last leg of the stool is how we deal with an issue, is being incredibly responsive. We're a company that runs at problems, not away from them. So when a customer has an issue, regardless if it's our fault or not, we go out and take care of it right away. We talk to them. We'll redo some work if we need to. We do our best to make sure that they're happy, but do it in a very responsive manner.
And you talk about the franchisees. There's over 4,000 franchises in the United States. Not all of them are good. What do you do to stand out in the space, and what do you look for before you bring someone on board as a new franchisee?
Yeah, clearly there's a lot of options, and there are a lot of good franchises, unfortunately a lot of not good franchises. And then even digging deeper is we think we're a great franchise opportunity, but we know we're not great for everyone. So you have to find the right fit, and there's a lot to know about that, which we can certainly talk about. But what we do to stand out is very specialized. Again, we started out as a general cleaning company and now have really gravitated to being highly focused. We service other customers too, but the vast majority is the hospitality industry. All of our processes, our chemicals, our equipment are designed for our hotels, and that's given us a big leg. And those relationships with the big hotel chains we've developed over the years is also very important. So the specialization's key. Also, we have very large territories. We mentioned we're over 30 now, which for some franchises is very small, but we give very large territories, typically only one franchisee per city. Why do we do that? We're probably leaving some money on the table because we could carve up, say, Chicago, where we're based, into 6 or 8 or 10 franchises, bring in more people, and sell more franchises. But our approach is we'd rather hopefully find high quality franchisee owners that have the ability, with our support, to scale the business. Over time, it becomes large, then they benefit, we benefit because we're compensated heavily if we're doing our job right as a percentage of sales. So we have good quality people who are good representatives of our company and go from there. And it also means that even when we're, quote, sold out of franchises, we're still going to have a fairly small number. So we know our people well. We give them a lot of individual attention. And all of our franchisee owners know that they can call any of us, including myself, the head of the company, and if not speak with us right away, we'll definitely hear that day. So keeping this nimbleness is very important, keeping this responsiveness to our customers, to our franchisees. It kind of is all part of the culture that we feed. So I think those are some of the differentiators, is that A, someone's got to be looking for a franchise opportunity, be very specialized, and see just the large territories and the responsiveness that we give them. So those are some of the keys to, I think, what's been making us successful so far, and hopefully will continue us for many, many more years.
Overall, what trends are you seeing in the commercial cleaning and specifically in your space in the industry?
Yeah, it's what we're seeing in this age of lots of change, that our business, and this was part of my criteria, although probably got more lucky than smart, is this is a business that's going to be one of the last ones to be disrupted by heavy technology, robots or drones or AI. Not going to say we won't, and I come from a technology background, so I'm following trends and doing a lot of testing of equipment and chemicals. I think that's a lot of it, is that for at least for the foreseeable future, at least what we do, hotel specialized cleaning and even commercial cleaning more broadly, again, technology disruption is one of the last things that will be one of the last industries to be affected by it. But certainly the people, it's hard to find good people. That's always important, is where, as a service business, again, you're always only as good as the quality of your people. So finding good people, particularly as labor markets are challenging, and finding them and then keeping them are very important. And I think that's a lot of it, is the people that probably will always be an issue, but particularly now. And commercial cleaning to various degrees will always be needed. It's not a high growth industry. We're not talking 15, 20, 30% a year, but is sort of in the single to mid digits, single digits, low to middle single digits growth each year, and some years more, some years less, but it's always going to be needed to varying degrees. So in that respect, we're probably less changed than others, but there's always change. There's new processes, new chemicals, things like that pop up. But the fundamentals of the business are always going to be revolved around the quality of the work we do, and that's largely dependent on our people.
What does marketing look like for Renue from a corporate level and then down to the local level?
Yeah, the way we do it is we help, we've got our corporate team, and we try to work hard to establish relationships with a lot of the hotels. Some of them are the big ones I mentioned, Marriott's and others, all of which we're preferred vendor for them across many of our geographies. And then, so we start out contacting the big hotels and work our way down. But importantly, we also then We also then teach our franchisees how to do this on the ground. So we go and visit hotels together and get the word out from there. So we do a lot of marketing to open up doors for our franchisees, create awareness, and then teach them how to do the on the ground selling. We visit them, we give them a lot of support. They learn our technique. So it's both top down to getting our establishing a good reputation, and then also bottoms up is that proving ourselves to individual customers how that works. So it's a combination of those two. And in our case, we're not a consumer or even a broad-based B2B business. It's not like we do a huge amount of broad marketing online or even offline media. It's very targeted. So in our case, we've cobbled together a very proprietary database of many of the hotels and the key managers in the hotels, and so we use that pretty heavily. But we spend a lot of time and money and energy keeping that current, because that's, again, proprietary. It doesn't exist off the shelf. So we've established that, which is a big advantage for us. And then it's very targeted. Again, it's not worth our while spending lots of money broad-based advertising as you would in many cases. So in us, it's very targeted.
Do you work with independent hotels as well outside of the big chains?
Yep, we do. We do. I mean, it tends to be where it tends to draw the line is the lower end that really don't want to spend any money or on cleaning, even though there's a good ROI and that's been proven. Those we tend not to do, but all the big brands and a lot of the independent ones, you're exactly right. We service many of those, as well as some outside hotel industry, but that's really just more through relationships that we've developed. It tends to be towards the hospitality industry, big, small, independent, as well as parts of the big chains.
And you mentioned the database, which I'm sure is super helpful. But when you think about such a niche and targeting this niche, what are some of the challenges you face with marketing, or do the franchisees face with marketing with such a targeted area to focus on?
Yeah, it's a great question. One we think a lot about, because years ago, and even before I joined Renue, we did a lot by phone calls, right? And that kind of went away, and people gravitated more online and a lot of emails. But I'm sure you're the same way. People are bombarded with emails. So to try to stand out, what's next? We're doing more videos and things like that. Even some hard mailers, going back old school. So there's a lot of ways we're doing it. Of course, visits is always good as well. When we visit a property, we'd love to do a demonstration, because it's good enough for them to see videos or pictures of what it looks like, their carpets before we cleaned and after. But when they see it with their own eyes and their own property, that's goes a long way to helping. It's a good sales tool, but we're always trying to evolve, keeping up. We do a lot on LinkedIn, but there's no silver bullet. And, for some customers, emails work. For others, it's different methods. But just getting people's attention, particularly as companies are running leaner and leaner with fewer people, that's a challenge, and probably always will be, and got to experiment and evolve to with the different avenues of obtaining their attention and communicating with customers.
Where does corporate's marketing responsibility start and end, and where does the franchisees start, I guess?
Yeah, well, we do a lot. Could we do more? Yeah, always. And we think we do a lot, and our franchisees generally think we do a lot for them. But at the end of the day, there's only so much we can do. We notify frequently all the hotels in their area. A lot of that's email, LinkedIn, doing our relationships at the corporate level with the big hotel chains. So we do a lot of that for them. We do visits. I visit each franchisee at least once a year, and we go and visit hotels and customers together. So we have a good read on that. We have some representatives on the ground, not employees of ours, but some of our hotel chains we work with heavily. But at the end of the day, a franchisee owner needs to want to also help grow the business, not just wait for the phone to ring. And so we teach them how to go and do some of these on the ground efforts. Of course, once you get a customer, it's much easier to keep them. than it is to get a new one. So talking to existing customers, not only talk to them about, hey, it's time to do the cleaning, your carpet cleaning again, but here's a bunch of other services that we noticed that you might need for your property. So cross-selling. And since we have so many different services, there's almost always something one of our customers or prospects may want. And that could be our way, our opener into the property. And we do a good job. Sometimes, often they'll give us a small project to start. We do a good job. We'll get a second job. That leads to one Hilton hotel telling another one across town. And then the reputation grows, not only at the national level and even international level, but at the local level. So there's a lot of that that happens if we're doing our job right, doing the marketing, and importantly, doing good quality work. Then it does somewhat grow organically.
Since we're a show focused on technology and AI, when you think to 2026 and you think about sales, marketing, automation of phones, what's one area that you would love to move forward with in 2026 and hope technology can solve a problem for you?
Yeah, a lot of it is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, great question. We're experimenting a little bit with AI. One at the simple level of marketing messages and coming up with better marketing messages, and it's been really very helpful there. But the other one is, and somewhat related, is communicating with customers, finding good ways of when's the right time, what's the right method to use to communicate with them. And there's no real answer on that. But AI has been helpful. Some of we use a CRM system, and coupling that with AI is starting to create some nice opportunities for us. So I would say in our case, the AI will be used on the marketing end, not so much on the operations end, but on the marketing end and customer interaction end. And I think there's a lot of possibilities that we'll see even further into next year.
So it seems a little less for lead generation and more for current customer communication. Is that right?
Actually, I would think it's both. Right now it's communication, but we're seeing, I would think that this time next year, if we're doing it right, lead generation should be a benefit of our use of AI.
Great. Turning to a little more about your background and some advice for some of our listeners as well. You know, to your point earlier, you started in finance, you ended up in a global commercial cleaning company, which is a unique path. But when you hear the news about the layoffs in corporate America and what's going on in AI replacing this and AI replacing that, and to your point, cleaning is probably one of the safer areas. But what advice do you have for that business professional out there who's looking for their next act, if you will, whether it's franchising, whether it's starting from scratch? What are some things to consider? Maybe they have a career in tech, finance, real estate, pharma. I don't know what it is, but I'd love you to give some advice to someone who may be frustrated in their current role and looking to do something else.
Yeah, I think probably the most important piece of advice offers to be resilient. I've been in several different careers now, and I think just being resilient, sometimes bad luck can turn into good luck. In my case, the layoffs led me to something I've been very excited about with Renue. So I think it's being resilient, not only learning new skills, and certainly it's much easier now than it ever has been online, learning new skills. And your example of someone in tech, there's a lot online. Needless to say, you can learn in other areas to learn things that are non-tech. So I think being resilient as far as your skill set, learning new things, but I would also say with your networking and rubbing people the right way, that's also a lot easier online, but even offline, try to go to at least one conference a year, totally unrelated to cleaning or my company, just to learn things, maybe meet some interesting people, learn some different perspectives. And then the last part of resilience is just your personality, I guess, how you deal with bad news and trying not to get down for too long, because often a bad opportunity or something that seems at the time bad luck can turn into a good opportunity. So trying to make the most of it, trying to realize, hey, bad luck can happen to lots of people and for reasons way out of your control, but it also can open up opportunities, and try not to get too frustrated about that. So resilience, I think, regarding skill set, regarding knowledge, regarding networking, and then just your how you deal with bad news. I think that's probably the best piece of advice that I could offer someone.
David, that is great advice, and it was such a pleasure to have you on the show today. Please tell our audience if they're interested in finding you, interested in franchising, tell us how we can find you.
Yeah, happy to. And this has been great for me also, Rob. My company is Renue Systems, and the website not again, but the website is RENUE systems.com. Lots of information on there. And you're always welcome to contact me, david.grossman@renewysystems.com, but certainly can do it through the website. More than happy to talk to you about any of this or anything you think I might be helpful to, franchising, business growth, looking for opportunities. I'll always try to happy to help if I can, because I've been the recipient of some good help along my path as well.
Paying it forward.
That's right. So
awesome, David. Well, again, thank you for your time. We really appreciate you joining us on Sound Waves today. And we thank our audience for their time, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks so much, David.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.